Yo, 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 my G's. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to do a really quick, little useful and concise tip today on smoothing out your kicks for your intros. So this is on my one-on-one mentorship sessions, which obviously links are available, and those are always available to you dudes. Something I end up going through a lot and like going over and over again. Is it's more towards newcomer producers or people that have been producing for a while but not for ages, is you'll often like have your kick drums like super loud, like in the intro, and then they kind of like stand out a bit and they're a bit out of place because you're trying to do like a really punchy sort of drum and bass kick or something in a part of the song where it kind of doesn't really need to be so aggressive. So I use my main punchy, powerful kick that I've got on my drop, but I'll always put it into a new channel and introify it. So I'm going to show you the process of how I do that now, and I'm going to use I'm going to try to use only free plugins as well. So this is not really a D&B track, but it's a track I'm working on, which is still using like the D&B kind of kick, which is this one here. If I play the beat quickly here. Okay, and there's a little part of intro here. I've got some sort of metallic kicks in, but if I take those out or bring those down a bit. So there's some other samples in there, but let's say I want to have another kick roll going on using my main kick here. So obviously if I want to do a kick roll, just like nice simple pattern like this, maybe we'll do a faster one. Maybe we'll go a bit faster here. Okay, so there's a little bit of a, excuse me, because there's a little bit of a sort of, the file was a bit too long, so it sort of cut the beginning part off, I think. Is that better? Yeah, so let's say I've got this kind of pattern. Maybe we can go like a bit faster here towards the end. Yeah, and then like the kind of point is there's no reason to have them the same volume and the same sort of aggressiveness as your main kick. Otherwise you've got no contrast and no impact on your drop at all. Yeah, you want those to be completely introified. So let's go ahead and do that now. So let's bring this down onto a new channel. These are going to be my intro kicks, and I'll always label them. So I will make sure that it's known that they are the intro kick and not the main one. So this is like the main kick here, and yeah. So how do we soften them? Well, I would probably, realistically, I'd probably do it just with one kick first, and then I would maybe do this sort of kick pattern afterwards. So let's just do it with one. And yeah, here's the process then. So let's just bring the clipper down to the bottom. And yeah, we're going to try and use only free plugins. So it's mostly reverb, EQ, maybe a bit of delay. That's pretty much it. And volume. So let's go for a reverb first. Let's do the super massive, so nice and crazy one. This is obviously a free plugin, the forward reverb preset. Let's just tweak the settings a little bit, the sort of low cut and high cut. So we're just trying to get the tone to be a bit sort of more coherent, almost, or cohesive. Okay, we don't have to like go overboard with all the effects. It's about smoothly doing one after another. Okay. Let's go about 25% on that one. Then let's add another one in. Let's do the Rift Feedback Lite, which is another free plugin, a free delay one, which I love. And here it's we can maybe make it a bit longer. Maybe I'll go for a bit of a tighter delay here. Okay, and now I'm going to high pass and low pass it a bit. Now we're going to take the mix right down. Okay, about 8%. So it's got just this little stereo kind of tail on it, and we've washed it out a bit more. So now let's do, just thinking if I can do another sort of free plugin that's a sort of creative one before we move on to sort of EQing it. I think that, well, the Kilohertz ones are pretty much free, I think. So let's do a bit of transient shaping. So obviously, because it's quite an aggressive kick, let's soften it here. Okay, while I'm here, I'm just going to turn the sustain down because of all that reverb and everything. Okay, so obviously the reverb is still long on it, but we're gonna chop that off afterwards. But I like to have it on and big and long because that's adding that character. You know, if I made it short, it would have a different tonality. So I'll leave it on big. You know. So now let's do a little bit of compression. So just using any compressor really. I'll just use the Logic one for now. But you can use any old shite. And so just auto gain off. And we're just sort of softening it here. So let's take the attack down. Just give it a bit of, you know, a bit of juice on the dial. Just sort of soften it a bit more. Yeah, I think that auto gain is off, isn't it? Yeah. There you go. And so let's finally do a bit of EQing, and we'll just do some shelving. So we're going to shelf the lows and the highs a bit. Sort of, it's almost like we're band passing it slightly. But yeah, taking out, doing low cuts and high cuts is going to be too extreme, you know. So shelves are useful for this kind of thing. We'll shelf that down a bit. Shelf this one down a bit too. So it's a bit less low end. Maybe a bit less high end as well. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to bounce that one out. It's all about just refining it one stage at a time, really. So again, I'm going to have to relabel it quickly as my intro kick. And then, obviously, it's got this really long, like we kind of mentioned, it's got this really long sort of reverb on it, you know. We don't really need that, so we'll just fade that off, I suppose. Nothing crazy. Let's go a little bit. Maybe make it a bit shorter here. Done a bit too much fading. Beg my pardon. Here we go. Okay. We'll try something like that. So now let's copy that over. And I'm thinking it's been made softer. The tone of it has changed, but it's obviously still too loud. And what we're going to do next is also one last thing. We're going to give it a bit more reverb again. So I'm just going to do like a Logic one to just control the dry wet a little bit and give it just a touch more reverb because I've sort of chopped it off now. Get a bit more of a natural tail. And I'm going to go for one last round of shelving as well. So, especially the highs. We'll shelve the highs a bit more this time. Okay, and I'm thinking, this is getting a bit carried away, but I'm doing this to emphasize the point that we're just sort of resampling it piece by piece, you know. So now I'm going to take the attack down a bit more. Maybe the sustain a bit. Okay, that's pretty nice around there, I think. Let's make those a bit longer. Or try shorter as well. I think I like them a little bit shorter actually, like that. These ones could be a bit longer. Yeah, that sounds pretty natural like that. I'm pretty happy around there. So just to sort of speed things up a bit, I'm going to just bounce that and delete that. And then finally, I'm going to have to, again, rename it one last time. But now I've got my intro kick layer. And you see how now, especially what's important was when I bounced it, you see the actual waveform result now again, you know? So you see how much lower they are in the mix, you know? So if I play them now... Okay, so how much better is that with regards to the impact, you know? So let's say I could maybe bring them up like a tiny bit, maybe like a dB or so. So in my drop, I wouldn't actually want one there. I'd want it to sort of stop there. Or it depends on your composition really, but in this track, I've got a bit of a gap here before. Yeah, and now that main kick in all its glory is like going to be amplified, and really you're able to enjoy the punchy power of the kick on the drop as a special treat, because you haven't ruined the listener's ear already with a massively over-aggressive kick in the part of the song which doesn't need one. So it's all about mixing your sections and, you know, adjusting the mix down depending on what's happening in the narrative, you know? So if you've got a narrative which is an intro, it doesn't really make sense to have a super harsh, aggressive, one-shot, massive D&B kick. So that's how I soften the kicks. And there you go. There's your little intro kick softened. Hope that was a helpful tip for you guys today. And yeah, much love. Thanks for all your support on the channel. Really means a lot. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Peace out. Much love.